All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Lexington Planning Commission meeting. This board is comprised of town residents who are appointed by the Town Council and serve without pay. This is a regular monthly meeting held on July 23rd, 2025. The meeting is being broadcast live on the Town of Lexington YouTube channel. Speakers must sign in before 8 a.m. on the sign-in sheet posted by the door. Speakers will be called to the podium for the list collected. Please state your name and your address for the record. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. I am Jarrett Harrelson, the Vice Chairman of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. Other Planning Commission members are
Sammy Hendricks.
Moscow Coffee.
Good morning, I'm Brian Amick.
Good morning, J.T. Stevenson.
Good morning, Betsy McCall.
Thank you. Commissioner McCall, will you lead the invocation, please?
Thank you, Lord, for bringing us here today so we can talk about the future of Lexington. Pray, Lord, that you will guide all of our discussions, all our words, our thoughts, and our actions. They bring glory and honor to you. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
If you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting will now come to order. Any deletions? No deletions. Can I get approval for the minutes from our last meeting? Thank you. And moving to new business.
Second.
We need a second.
I'm sorry. Have a second?
Second.
All right. Now we're going. All in favor? Apologize. All unanimous. Thank you. Sorry, I'm stepping in today. For new business, we have the rezoning for Lexington County Tax Map 004322-06-003, located at 411 North Lake Drive. Jessica?
Good morning.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Chairman. I would like to recuse myself due to some personal conflicts.
All right. Thank you. Jessica?
5J LLC is requesting to rezone the rear portion of Lexington 411 North Lake Drive from protected residential to general commercial. The intent of this request is to align the zoning of the rear portion of the property with the front, which is currently used as an office. Rezoning will allow the entire parcel to be uniformly zoned for commercial use. Properties in the immediate vicinity are zoned protected residential, limited commercial, and general commercial.
Great. I think last time we spoke, this is currently a split zoning.
Correct. And I believe the applicant is here today.
Okay. Great. Would the applicant like to speak? Just a reminder, if you'll state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Dennis Johns. I recently purchased this property, I guess a year and a half ago, and didn't realize it was split zoning at the time, so it just makes common sense for the whole parcel to be zoned uniformly on that. Other than that, no other immediate improvements to be made to the property at all.
Okay.
Any questions?
Just make sure if you're aware, if you do any kind of change of use business, it's going to have to comply to the standard, the current ordinance for buffering requirements.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
I'm fully aware of that. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anyone signed up to speak?
Yeah, first we have Mr. Chuck Corley.
I was going to give them Miss Edie Harmon for a minute.
Okay, Ms. Harmon.
Good morning. I'm Edie Harmon and have lived at 220 Metz Avenue in Lexington's historic Village District neighborhood for 60 years. The neighbors and I are here this morning to ask you not to approve the change of zoning for the vacant property next door to 306 Metz Avenue in our neighborhood from residential to commercial. 306 Metz is the home of Ms. Carol Robertson, a retired school teacher. This would greatly impact Ms. Robertson's home. Village District neighborhood is Lexington's oldest residential neighborhood, where the homes range in age from the 1800s to the 2000s. Our neighborhood is very desirable, being in the downtown area of Lexington, close to schools, churches, shopping, and restaurants. When a home comes up for sale, it is sold in a matter of days. We want to preserve this neighborhood and feel it is in the town's best interest to do so by keeping commercial creep from invading our environs. Therefore, we are asking you to vote no on changing this property from residential to commercial. Thank you.
Do you want to speak as well?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair and committee. I'm Chuck Corley. I live at 121 Burley Street, and I'm surrounded by commercial properties on 3 sides. The museum directly in front of me and the old lighthouse to the north, and then we had Sonic and all like that, and the eye doctor is to my south and to my west. While the museum is not a terrible bad neighbor, none of them are too much. Last Friday at 7:15, my neighbor, Caroline Bryson, called me and said, there's a fellow outside in the parking lot at the lighthouse urinating. You know, you have that. Then you go down the street to where Sonic is, and I like Sonic, but I'm glad that they've moved over across Columbia Avenue, because when we live in a 2-story house, and I was getting ready for work one morning and looked out, and I thought that it was some cats out there playing in the backyard, and it was rats. And I mean rats, like their body was that big. And one of the old feral cats that's in the neighborhood came and attacked it, and it had a time getting him. But anyway, you don't realize all the little things that you have when you disturb that property through there. If it's woods, you know, that's where they all go. Any kind of vermin, because there's no place else for them to go. Sunday night, whenever I got out of the truck, I went to walk around and go in the back door, and a doe ran right in front of me. And we're in town. I mean, you know, not even 3 or 4 blocks from right here. And of course, you have the traffic issue and that sort of thing. Whenever you say you can't do this, you can't do that, a lot of times people, whenever it turns into commercial property, they don't really know all of that, I guess. Like the doctor's office is not supposed to have an egress onto Burley Street, is my understanding. And that's good. But people come out of their parking lot onto our street every day. And you know, we have a lot of cut through traffic in our neighborhood anyway. We're getting some newer, younger people around that have children, and I hate, you know, to think what people could do, you know, the accidents that could happen with children there. Especially at the museum, because they get bus loads, literally, school bus loads full of children at least once or twice a week. So I just don't think that, you know, we've come a long ways, and this board has helped us a whole lot keep our neighborhood as a viable neighborhood. And whenever we have lots of people that come through, and they always are so happy to see some part of Lexington preserved. And I hate to see, you know, if the split zoning has been working this long, you know, and if it goes to commercial, then who knows if he decides tomorrow, the next owner, to sell to McDonald's or to somebody like that, if they meet the criterion that the town has up, they can go in there if this is rezoned to commercial. If it's not, then it still gives us a buffer. Up at the end of Metz Avenue, it's a lot of commercialization up there. If you've ever stopped or driven down.
I'm going to have to, if you wrap, I'll give you like just a few seconds to wrap it up. I have to cut you off though.
If you've ever been up and down Metz Avenue, you know what traffic is there. And I think if you rezone this and it was commercial at any time in the future when this gentleman leaves, I think it'll be a detriment to our neighborhood.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Good morning. I'm Carol Robertson. I live at 306, right next door to the property. And I understand why Mr. Johns is requesting for that whole tract. However, I do have some concerns. I'm concerned about what type of business it might be. depending on what the business is, would certainly add more noise, traffic, less privacy for me. I understand it can be an office, it can be retail, or it can be even fast food. I'm wondering, will it add more traffic to Met since there's already a driveway that cuts all the way through? We already, like both have already said, we already have a lot of traffic on Metz Avenue. It's a cut through, I understand that as well, but it's not safe to walk on our street. When I was taking my grandchildren down to St. Stephen's for their morning program, I was scared to walk with them down Metz Avenue. There's not a sidewalk there, and our street is falling apart down there at the creek. It's in constant need of repair. So more traffic would just mean more tearing up of our road, more speeders, more drivers talking on their phones, not looking where they're driving, et cetera, et cetera. I'm concerned, will it truly provide 100% opaque screening over to my property, which I understand it was supposed to require? I'm on one side of Que Bueno's parking lot, so I hear cars, I hear talking, I hear horns beeping, I hear the garbage trucks, I hear the delivery trucks. So I'm not totally 100% screened from them. And then in my backyard, there's the restaurant. So this would add another something that would have a lot of, maybe it would have a lot of traffic. With the property on the other side of it already commercial, my concern is, will both of these properties be combined for one larger commercial tract to put something else in there? With garbage trucks coming for the dumpster early mornings, is it going to wake me up? I'm retired. I taught at Lexington Elementary for 35 years and then 5 more at White Knoll Elementary. So I'm enjoying my retirement and would like that to continue. I plan on staying in my home until my dying day. I love this area. I love Lexington. Yes. Will any said garbage create odors like the dumpster in the Que Bueno parking lot? Can I have just a few more seconds, 30 seconds?
Few more seconds.
I'll just read it real fast. If it stays residential, is it going to be zoned for only, is it currently zoned for one residence, or is it a multi-residence zoning? And will large delivery trucks be in a constant parade? Because I understand Metz is limited to large trucks, which that doesn't keep them out. It's our neighborhood. I'm going to ask our neighbors who are here to support keeping it residential to just raise their hand or stand up or all of us are not going to speak, but we appreciate your consideration for keeping it as is.
Thank you. If we could just keep it to 3 minutes, we have some more projects as well, so we appreciate it.
I'll be quicker than that. I just wanted to reiterate what my neighbors have said. I live in the neighborhood. It's our neighborhood. It's where we live. It's where we play. It's where we walk. We have older people in our neighborhood. We have Mr. Bowles, Joe Bowles, who rides his scooter through the neighborhood. We have a young lady at the end of the street who has a motorized wheelchair. She rides through the neighborhood. Metz Avenue is not safe. There's nowhere to walk. There are ditches on both sides of the road coming down already. More traffic will make it unsafe. And it's where we live and where we play. And I think that we should expect that our neighborhoods would be a safe place for us to live. And more traffic, I think, will make it worse. And our roads, as they've mentioned, are already in bad shape. And more traffic would add to that. So I'd like for you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. Yeah, I see there's a lot of discussion, so I just want to make sure some clarification. So I mentioned to the applicant earlier if he does a change of use about buffers. But Jessica, could you also explain what also, it's not just the buffer requirements that are the current ordinance if they were to do a change of use. I think somebody mentioned about egress and stuff.
Correct. So Correct. So with any change of use, we evaluate the property and look at access points and make sure that they're up to standards. If not, transportation improvements or access improvements could be required. They have to meet all parking standards, setback standards, architectural appearance standards, land development standards. So there's a lot of review that takes place should they change the use from an office or even to expand the commercial to the rear portion of the property.
All right, thank you. All right.
Not yet, they have to vote. Hang on. They have to
Do
vote.
I have a recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, if it's okay, ask the applicant a question if I could. Mr. Johns, appreciate you being here this morning. Based on the neighbors' concerns they've expressed this morning, and since there's no specific plan of change of use for this parcel, would you consider withdrawing until there's a specific plan for the property? And I don't mean to put you on the spot, I guess I have, but
Yeah.
they definitely have concerns. They've lived there a long time, and I think
Sure.
that has some value.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to bring up, it's besides the one residential portion that the owner spoke of, the entire block is zoned, the commercial zoning, except one small corner over behind the old Mitchell house. So the entire block. So it almost appeared to be almost like an oversight, possibly when they did the zoning years ago. I'm not sure, but like I said, the restaurant, parking lot, everything's around it. No intended change at all right now. The parking is sufficient on everything else. I guess it's hard to reconsider. We've, dealt with this a number of months now, and we just kind of like to move forward with it, I feel like, at this point. And if there's any use change, I guess we'll go through this again also, or any definite change in use.
If there's a change in use, that'll be handled at staff.
Staff level. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a recommendation? Okay, I have a recommendation to move forward.
Mr. Chairman, I would agree with Mr. Amick that at this point in time, if there's no planned use for the property at this time, then I would recommend not to approve. If and when he wants to come back and sell it to, or establish a business there, it has to go through the process again. So I would recommend no rezoning.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? All right. Yep.
Welcome
All right.
back.
Moving on to item number 2, annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 0042-00-01-001-121, located at 631 Old Chapin Road. Jessica, just give me a
I'm
second.
gonna wait a minute
Yeah.
as they clear the room. You ready?
Okay.
Lexington County Recreation and Aging Commission owns approximately 16.21 acres on the corner of Old Chapin Road and Old Cherokee Road and has petitioned to annex the property. A public park is being constructed on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned limited commercial and protected residential 2. Old Chapin Road and Old Cherokee Road are classified as a collector road. The property is shown on the future land use map as suburban residential area. The comprehensive land use plan describes the general character of suburban residential areas as low-density, single-family detached housing that provides sidewalks and streets that connects to parks, nearby commercial, schools, and other civic uses. For the proposed project to be compliant with the zoning ordinance, the property should be zoned with limited commercial zoning.
Okay, anyone here to speak on the park? Okay. Anyone like to speak for or against the park to sign up? Nope. Okay. Do I have a recommendation?
I'll move approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous? Thank you. Moving on to item 3, annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 00530001-014-064-064-026 and -013 located at 300 block of Bar Road. Jessica?
Benjamin Satcher Jr. and Satcher Properties LLC own 191.08 acres on 5 separate parcels and have petitioned to annex the property. A 308-unit subdivision is being on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned limited commercial. Bar Road is classified as a collector road. West Main Street is classified as an arterial road. The property is shown on the future land use map as a suburban residential area. The comprehensive land use plan describes the general character of suburban residential areas as low-density, single-family detached housing on large lots. For the proposed project to be compliant with the zoning ordinance, the property should be zoned protected residential. The recommended classification of Bar Road should be a collector road, and West Main Street should be an arterial road.
All right, applicant here to speak on behalf.
Do you,
Actually, won't we wait till the applicant speak on the site plan? This is just annexation.
correct?
So is there anybody here to speak on behalf of the annexation?
Anything specific on annexation, though?
Okay,
Well, I'm mostly speaking about the site plan.
okay. Do I have a recommendation? Any recommendation for the annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 005300-101-0014?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Raise your right hand. All right. All right. Item number 4, sketch plan approval for a new subdivision located in the 300 block of Bar Road. Jessica?
All right. Meritage Homes is requesting sketch plan approval for a new subdivision on 191.08 acres located in the 300 block of Bar Road. The proposal consists of 308 larger lot, single-family detached homes with an average lot size of 7,946 square feet. The allowable density of residential development is determined by the zoning classification of the property. Properties with protected residential zoning are permitted up to 8 units per acre. This development will have an overall density of 1.61 units per acre. Protected residential zoning requires a minimum lot size of 7,260 square feet. This proposal meets that requirement. The proposed lot size range from a minimum of 7,260 square feet to a maximum of 9,000 square feet. The submitted plan does not provide the proposed setbacks for the project. However, protected residential zoning requires a 30-foot setback from the front property line and a 10-foot setback from the rear and side property lines. The town's land development ordinance requires that at least 17% of the area be dedicated as open space. Based on this standard, a minimum of 32.5 acres of open space is required. The proposed plan includes 72.99 acres of open space, excluding any pond areas. The plan includes a 50-foot landscape buffer along Bar Road as required by the landscape and tree ordinance. An amenity area is proposed featuring a pool, clubhouse, pickleball courts, and several fire pit seating areas. The plan also includes a trail system that traverses the length of the property and aligns with the master trail plan being developed for the area. The code requires a multi-use trail to be at least 8 feet wide with an additional 8-foot clearance on both sides and constructed with asphalt or concrete. I'd like to mention that last night, they also confirmed that the ponds would have docks and be able to be used for fishing as well as an amenity. Access to the development will be provided by entrances from Bar Road and West Main Street. There will also be an emergency access drive from the amenity area to Wing Hill Drive. A traffic impact analysis was not submitted with the proposal, but an analysis will be provided prior to issuance of a grading permit. The town will obtain an independent engineering review of the traffic impact analysis upon receipt. Preliminary discussions with the developer indicate that improvements will be required at the entrance on Bar Road, at the intersection of Bar Road and Wildlife Road, and at the intersection of West Main Street and Bar Road. The project is located on the site that is identified on the town's future land use map as suburban residential. The general characteristics of suburban residential areas are described in the comprehensive plan as low-density, single-family, detached housing on large lots. Suburban residential development should include sidewalks and streets that connect to parks, nearby commercial, schools, and other civic uses. This area strives to integrate with the larger streets and corridor networks, particularly the expanding local and regional sidewalk and trail system. This subdivision will include public maintained local roads. The proposed plan includes sidewalks interior to the subdivision. Additionally, this project will include roads constructed over pond dams, which will not be accepted by the county for maintenance.
Great. And I think last time we discussed, there's also going to be a public work session. Is that correct, or a hearing?
Yes, I believe that the applicant plans to go before town council at their next work session to have discussion, and that they were also hoping to hold a community workshop or meeting prior to first reading.
Great, thank you. Yes, our work session, I invited everyone that was not in attendance to go back and review it as well. They had a fairly 30-minute in-depth discussion, answered a lot of questions during our work session as well.
And that's available on our YouTube.
Yep, thank you to revisit. Is the applicant here? Like to speak and kind of high level what was discussed last night for the public, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I won't try to rehash everything we discussed last night, but thank you again.
Can you state your name again?
Yeah, Chip Morrison, Vice President of Acquisition for Meritage Homes, 701 Brookfield Parkway. Thank you, Jessica, for highlighting two of the points I just want to rehash. Yes, we absolutely do plan on attending the council workshop. We're targeting the August 18th workshop. In addition to that, we are trying to get letters out here in the next week and a half to the local residents to see if we can get a community meeting on the books before that workshop. Of course, if that doesn't quite work out, it'll be immediately after. But yes, we absolutely do intend on holding a community meeting to discuss things with the local residents. The only other item that I wanted to talk about, or at least re-highlight, was maybe some confusion that we saw from the public via social media last night, just about schools. Again, just to clarify my point last night, it'll be 36 students added over the 6-year lifespan of this deal, starting 2028 through 2033. It'll be 36 students per grade, K through 12. So I just wanted to clarify that in case I misspoke last night. Outside of that, of course, we are here to answer any additional questions that weren't answered from last night, or just to review things that you guys might want to look at further.
I think there's some questions that came up to staff about the dams. I don't know if you can address as far as.
Yeah, as far as that, the dam crossings will, I'll actually defer to our engineer.
Name after.
Good morning. Good to see you all again. Kayla Joyner with Seaman Whiteside, 701 Easley Bridge Road, Greenville. Regarding the dams, was the question specifically about maintenance and ownership is what we wanted to address there?
And I think to bringing them up to spec.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. So Meritage is actually already underway with some geotech testing to just evaluate the existing condition of those dams, and we absolutely assume that those are going to need to be improved. The intent going in is that those are going to be reinforced, they're going to be up to code. We'll have to go through all inspections, prior to paving roadway to ensure that those are fully stabilized, and those will be held by the HOA rather than passed off to the county for adoption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speakers?
We have anyone, thank you. We have anyone here to sign up to speak on?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Steve McMillan. I live at 157 Cottage Woods Trail. We have 6 acres that butts up to this Atcher property. So just a lot of concerns. We were here last time, there was a proposal. And one of the major concerns, there's a lot of wildlife in the area. The ponds, the pond dams are a huge concern for us. So my neighbor with me, she has a pond, but it's crammed in. I know they're coming in with this proposal. They're from Greenville and they're not local. I'm not trying to be any way, but we live here. This is our town. And I just feel like that we really need to take into consideration the amount of homes that are trying to go in there.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. Before we go to the next person, Randy, can you touch on when the traffic, is Randy? I thought I saw Randy. When the traffic studies are the times, and I think also mentioned about, he had a question about just in general when we do traffic studies, peak times, kind of broad view of it, and I think you also mentioned LTIP. I know a study hadn't been done on this particular property, but in general, I think part of the question was just when do traffic studies, what they evaluate peak times and stuff, trips.
So Randy Edwards, Transportation Director for Town of Lexington. Generally speaking, say generally, like it's generally accepted, all traffic studies are done during peak hours, during school times. So we don't allow, collections on Sundays and on non-school operations. So it is just generally accepted that we look for a normal case. We don't also look for the worst case. We look for what's normal so that we can, in fact, evaluate what normal conditions are and have a developer or ourselves, build towards those, mitigate those trips. For clarity, this project is subject to the local transportation improvement plan, which was adopted in 2018, which in fact identified wildlife at Bar Road as a intersection that would be impacted by additional trips. So they are looking at that specifically due to the change in access because of the previous, plan that didn't go through. This plan provides access to US 1, so there are in fact having to look at the movements out there at Bar Road and West Main Street. So again, the LTIP is our guiding document, but it's not restricted to those locations. So the traffic impact study that they are currently in process of finishing up has in fact incorporated numerous intersections that were reviewed by myself as well as SCDOT. And then we will, as I clarified last night, the town has agreed to, we will hire our own third-party engineer to do an evaluation or review of that study when it's complete.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
One more question before you speak. I'm sorry. And back to the dam question, DHEC would also be involved with most dams as well, is correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Good morning. Teresa Ellisor, 138 Hilly Rock Road. I do want to mention traffic studies are important during school hours. Our schools in session. Lexington 1 has not gone back yet, so just wanted to mention that. They go back in about 2 weeks. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. I appreciate the improvements made to this proposed site plan, especially relocating the second entrance to Highway 1 rather than connecting it to a well-established older neighborhood street, which would have made it frequently used as a cut-through. It's clear that the developer has considered previous concerns, and that effort is appreciated. This is a special piece of property, and careful planning is needed to preserve this unique character, especially with homes overlooking ponds and beautiful green space near town. However, there was no mention of housing styles or building materials. I encourage the Planning Commission to address this, as quality and variation in home design will help the development blend better with the landscape. I reviewed the packet and listened to the work session. I heard this area falls within the suburban residential designation, which aims for larger lots and lower density. The developer expressed a desire to collaborate and acknowledge concerns about density. However, the plan increases the number of homes by 41, excuse me, compared to the previous plan presented last year. largely by reducing lot sizes, which increases density. In keeping with the town's comprehensive plan, and as mentioned by Director of Planning and Building Jessica Library in a News 19 article dated just yesterday, this particular development is in the suburban residential area, which aims for larger lots, lower density neighborhoods. The proposed range of lot sizes is 7,260 to 9,000 square feet. The proposed average lot size is 7,946 square feet, which is only 686 square feet or 9% more than the minimum required. So there would not be many 9,000 square foot lots. Therefore, it does not appear to keep with the intent of the town's residential suburban area of larger lot sizes, and it's substantially less than the 10,890 square feet required by Lexington County residential zoning should it not be annexed. This property is currently in the county, but it is petitioning for annexation into the town. The county and the town are working together on residential zoning alignment and a central overlay residential district currently. I would urge planning commissioners to recommend the developer increase lot sizes, keeping with the intent of the comprehensive plan as adopted by town council, and to stay consistent with this collaborative effort between town and county. Keep in mind, if the average lot size were to increase to 9,000 square feet, the total home count would be around 271 instead of 308, reducing the burdens on infrastructure while still providing an exceptional development with wonderful amenities. Lastly, I understand that developments over 300 homes require 3 entrances per town zoning due to safety concerns. This plan includes 2 entrances and 1 emergency access. I recommend verifying whether that emergency access will be usable by residents and whether it will be usable by residents and counted as a required 3rd entrance. I recommend that Planning Commission take the necessary time to seek clarity on the concerns I have mentioned prior to making a recommendation to council. Thank you again for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Randy, would you like to address, if I just heard some discrepancies with the school in session, that's not, would be considered normal.
Just a quick clarification that we actually, work on traffic year-round, and so, but we do in fact collect the data during normal school hours to make sure that the study's being done over the summer, but the study work is being done. So just want to make that clarification that I don't remember the specific week, but the traffic counts were collected back in April during a normal school day. So.
Thank you.
I would like to point out that we do not have architectural appearance standards for residential homes, so that is not included in our evaluation. I would also like to point out that while I understand that the county has certain regulations regarding minimum lot size, our regulations are 7,260 square feet, and the plan beats that. It is also my understanding that while it's noted that Wing Hill Drive is an emergency access, it's not going to be gated. I think it's going to be open. Is that correct? It is going to be open. So it does count as, it's not blocked off.
Okay. And also, there was additional property added to this from last time.
Correct.
So the size of the property
is different.
increased.
I believe the last submittal was around 160 so acres, and we're at 191 now.
Correct. Right. And just for clarification, the Planning Commission doesn't do architectural review we just based on the site plan, so just from clarification. All right. You have anybody else?
Mr. Hudson?
Good morning.
Morning.
You look under the dictionary on the definition of chicken legs, you get to see it this morning. First of all, I want to appreciate and tell you how much I appreciate your service.
I know people know that.
Darrell Hudson, 156 Colors Pond Lane, Lexington County Council, District 3. This is in my district. You have a tough job, and I understand that, and I appreciate your time. I really do. I have a few concerns that I would like to discuss. I don't know if I can do it in 3 minutes, but I'll try. First of all, last night the presentation was very excellent. I watched it on YouTube. Hope Jim is sincere about his feeling to get away from the national builder he worked at that I had so much problems with, that built box houses and left us with the problems. We get the phone calls on the weekends, and you know what I'm talking about. Number one, we had 4 inches of rain last night at my house, which is right there where they live. I asked the Planning Commission, asked for more than BMPs around the ponds, have advanced BMPs because 4 inches of water in that period of time on those ponds will have a direct effect. I'm very familiar with Mr. Satcher and his family forever. Mr. Satcher would roll over in his grave today to know that he was doing this with these many houses, but Mr. Satcher Jr. is a friend of mine also, and he has the right to sell the property and do what he wants to do with it. So with that said, it's your job, hopefully, I made an oath to serve and protect. I hope you preserve and protect the same way. The roads were mentioned last night from 22 or 24 feet. The National Fire Safety says they have to have a minimum of 20 feet. So I would suggest you go to 24 feet. I would also suggest that you would encourage no street parking at all, because the houses today that are built now, right now, are the old ordinances, as y'all know. I came in 1997, or 2000, whatever, 17, preaching 4 houses an acre. We're now seeing the building of the old ordinance. The new ordinance will just start. And I do believe that we can preserve the quality of Lexington County and not give our souls to the national builders who will drop their product on us and leave the county council and the city council with the problems they leave us with. Lastly, I would really, and I've told Ben Satcher the things I'm telling you now, Junior, you know, I think the walking is great, the parks are great, and that's what we need. Sidewalks. I'm a proponent of sidewalks, even though the county council is not big proponents of sidewalks. But when they plant trees, we'll make sure the trees are away from the sidewalk, because the trees create a major financial burden on the county, because the trees grow into the sidewalks, which go into the road. With that said, we can't stop you. I just ask you to protect our community like it was your backyard. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will say we are residents as well, so it is our backyards, but thank you. A couple of things you mentioned, it's just comments. I don't know if you said you watched YouTube channel last night. Commissioner Hendricks did bring up the street parking. We're hoping that the HOA does take that under consideration. We actually mentioned that. And I think with our new tree and landscape ordinance, we've addressed the sidewalk issue with trees just recently, because we had the problem. I actually had the problem in my neighborhood. I know exactly what you're talking about. So this would fall under that new ordinance. We have particular setbacks for the sidewalks and trees.
That is correct, and we also have some root barrier control type things that are required as well. So we will be starting landscape review of any new subdivision, so this would fall under that.
Yep.
And y'all did an excellent job last night.
Yep. Thank you.
I do have a question about the ponds. The ponds keep getting brought up. Is there a concern about flooding the neighborhood? So I would ask the developer, I know a lot of these ponds are existing. Is there a hydraulic study to show what the ponds, you know, how they're going to perform during different storm events?
Morning. Jerry Livingston with Seaman Whiteside. Yes, like you're saying, lots of concerns about the ponds, and it's our full intention to be in compliance with every stormwater design regulation. With every project we do this, and of course it won't get approved and even go through permitting if we cannot meet flow requirements and volume requirements. So in this case, certainly our greatest intention is to preserve the natural condition. We won't be treating any quality or quantity in any sense with those existing ponds. We leave those untouched. We introduce our full-scale detention pond BMPs with a working outlet structure and everything that would mitigate all kinds of flows, reduce flooding from the condition that is existing. So really what we're looking at in the end is an improved overall condition, less flooding than what we're seeing right now, untouched. So our general scope is we want to leave it better than what we found it as in terms of flooding.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are very strict, going to what he said, there are very strict stormwater quality requirements in the town and the county of Lexington.
No one else? Great. All right, would I have a recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous? All right. With that,
Mr. Chairman, I have a brief comment, if I could, related to this project. And I appreciate Mr. Hudson's expressing his concerns, and I know they're accurate. These folks have done a lot of work and spent a lot of money trying to come up with a plan that's acceptable to the community. They've indicated they will have a public hearing or forum, whatever you would call it, before it goes to town council. Our vote this morning is a recommendation. So I think there's a chance that, and I can't speak to this, it's not my project, but I think it leaves the door open for further dialogue about what happens, and we appreciate the concerns of the community, and we also appreciate the professionalism that you all have shown, you know, through the process and last night in your presentation.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Great. Thank you for watching the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. Please note we cannot partake in any outside communications about agenda items. If you have any additional questions after the meeting, please contact the municipal clerk. On behalf of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission and staff, I wish you a good day. Thank you.